that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Miami Dolphin fans, Finn fans, NFL fans, welcome back to another episode of Go Time Dolphins. As you can see from the title of this episode, be it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast from, if you're watching on Twitter, this isn't a normal Go Time Dolphins episode, but if you watched the last episode, if you are a long-term listener of Go Time Dolphins, and you know exactly why we are doing this episode right now. But before we delve into that, Charlie, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, as I had to turn my mic on in the middle of the intro. I'm good, Kadeem, man. You chilling? You good? What's the word?
Yeah, I'm all good. You know, work, video games, life, usual stuff. I think we said off air when the last episode of Share by Steve, my son turned 9 last week. So just, being a father, you know. And shout out to everyone in the comments. Shout out to Jason Keck. Hi, Charlie and Kadeem. Hope all is well. And I'm well. Charlie asked me whether he's well as well. Shout out to Drakey. He says, "Hey, yo." And shout out to Robert Ashton. Hi, Charlie, Kaz, and everyone across the pond and across the world.
I ain't gonna lie, when I read that Ayo from Drakey, there's like 5 O's. So I kind of read it like DMX. Ayo. That's how I translated it. Am I wrong for that?
No, not at all. Rest in peace, DMX, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, it's Mental Health Awareness Month in all month of May. And, you know, if you're a long time fan of Go Time Dolphins, you know, once a year we do a CTE awareness and mental health awareness episode here on Go Time Dolphins. And that's what this episode is. And Kadeem, bro, I kind of this is why I like our podcast, bro. We do think we color outside the lines. Can't be afraid to color outside the lines. And we bring it up throughout the year, like probably the only podcast, Miami Dolphins podcast, that has a CTE awareness, mental health awareness episode every single year. So man, I appreciate you being the co-host and being able to go back and forth on something like this, because a lot of people can't talk about stuff like this. And to be honest with you, it's a Miami Dolphins podcast, also meaning it's a football podcast, and that's where the focus is, honestly, for me when it comes to the players. So you got athletes, Kadeem, that sacrifice their bodies, sacrifice their brains, their minds for our entertainment. And for a long time, bro, I was just football. Played football since I was 4 years old. I remember going to championships when I was 5. You know, it didn't take me long to get there. You know what I'm saying? We didn't win, though. But so it didn't take me long, you know what I'm saying? But listen, so I as far as my furthest memories go, I've been playing football. And growing up, I'm like, nah, man. My kids are gonna play football. All my brothers and sisters, all my brothers play football, right? It was always football, and never, ever, okay, ever did I ever think about like mental health awareness or CTE or head trauma in the game of football until it got real. You start seeing these hits, and then obviously I bring it up every single year on this episode. The movie Concussion really highlighted it, and I'm always going to recommend, if you have not seen the movie Concussion, bro, that is a movie. It highlights so much. It's just so educational, and it's a really good movie in itself. But I'm running kind of a little long. Kadeem, what you got for us?
No, it's it's an interesting one because we've probably I know we've got thousands of listeners across the world who tune into our takes, our opinions, our banter, our jokes about the NFL, Miami Dolphins. Sometimes it kind of delves into movies, TV shows. Like again, I think with the last episode before we went on there, Charlie was humming the Game of Thrones theme tune. Like there's so much stuff that we delve into, but like mental health and CTE awareness is something which we've kind of made sure we do, like one particular episode on just that. The Dolphins new to talk about, but we kind of feel like no, it's the month of May. We need to talk about this because it's something which isn't really spoken about that much. And CTE awareness is one thing. When we talk about mental health, there's so much in those two words, mental health. It's not so much. To me, it's much more than just physical. It's no pun intended. It's a mental thing. It's making sure that as a human, as a person, you are okay mentally, whether you need to take time off work, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a deep topic, but at the same time, I know myself and you, Charlie, we'll find a way to drop a few jokes in here and, keep it lighthearted as well as serious where it needs to be. Keep talking. I do want to go get something very quickly, back in like literally 2 secs.
So tying it into the Dolphins and football, as Kadeem takes a break from us real quick. We'll talk about the mental health side of it real quick. Oh, well, before we do that, you don't see the flex that Kadeem just got out the chair. The chair spins around, and you have the bat signal on the back of Kadeem's video game chair. Like for all the audio listeners, we're on YouTube. We're also on Patreon. Y'all can rock with us on Patreon, but we're on YouTube right now. Kadeem gets up out of his chair. His chair spins around like he's Bruce Wayne, and then there's the bat symbol on the back of his chair, like he's like Batman. Like, and he probably didn't do it on purpose, but that was definitely a small flex as he comes back to the screen, and he doesn't even know what we're talking about as he puts on the headphones. Kadeem,
Yeah,
bro, did you know there's a bat signal on the back of your chair?
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
Bro, I'm dead serious, bro. Like you done flexed on us on your way out of the podcast. The bat signal turn. It looked like you were like Bruce Wayne in the cave and it had the bat logo on. I'm like, look at this guy flexing. The black on black.
So was it so hold on. Let me. Yeah, it's on the back, but it's also like there.
We can't ever see that one though, because you're sitting on it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like, you know what? It's one of those things where, like, I'm a massive Batman fan. For those, that's Dragon Ball Z talking about. I'm a massive Batman fan. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where, like you said, you can't see it when I'm sitting here, so I have to move you to see it. But it is pretty cool. Yeah, like
that was definitely a flex. So I was just about to get into the mental health side of things when it comes to football, right? And the Miami Dolphins in particular. Just last episode, we talked about how our quarterback, QB1, was drugged through the mud. And I'm like, yo, the Miami Dolphins drug our quarterback through the mud the first couple seasons. He didn't know if he was getting traded. Everyone said, well, half the fan base wasn't on him. It was like over half the fan base wasn't on him. I'm like, nah, bro, this ain't cool. You drafted this dude 5th overall, first round pick, didn't really get a chance, didn't get an opportunity. Didn't have the players around him, didn't have a coach, had 5 different offensive coordinators in 3 seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, had 5 different offensive coordinators, and he had to endure all kinds of stuff, right? That's the mental health side of it. Like, man, even Tua talked about it. Am I even good enough? Am I as good as I thought? Like, am I supposed to be a quarterback in the NFL? Do I need a occupation change? Should I be taking less Shirai, Steve? You know what I'm saying? So it was a genuine moment when Tua talked about when Coach McDaniel came in, and Coach McDaniel came in and spoke life into Tua. And the first, I don't know if it was the first meeting, But one of the first meetings that Tua had with Coach McDaniel, it probably wasn't the first, but it was one of the first times they sat down to watch film. It was a couple people in the room. I want to say it was some coaches, maybe even Chris Gray was in the room, a handful of people, important Miami Dolphin brass. And McDaniel sat down with Tua, and they were watching film. So imagine McDaniel and Tua watching film. And I think McDaniel said he had like 200 clips of Tua. Like, look at these passes. Like, look at this pass. This is what I need you to do. This is what you're good at. And Tua was like, he verbally said like he thought it was a joke. And so he was looking at around the room, like seeing like, is this a prank? Like, does someone really appreciate who I am as a quarterback? So just having that support and that belief and the encouragement of someone like your head coach for Tua, bro. Imagine the opposite when you don't have that. And he kind of talked about how it was when he didn't have it. So what type of role, what type of impact does it play on your mind as a quarterback of a football team when you're in the fourth quarter and you got to deliver, right? And I even asked you, Kadeem, last year I asked you, and I can't remember the scenario, but I think it was the Titans game, maybe. And I basically gave you a question. I was like, bro, would you rather lose a game and have Tua dialed in, maybe? Or would you like for the last? Oh yeah, I think this is what it was. Would you rather lose the game and have him dialed in and for the last 5 games of the season, or would you rather win the game and have him doubt himself for the last 5 of the season going into the playoffs? It was something like that. And that's also mental health, bro. So there are more things to football than just the physical ability of playing football. And there's some more things I'm going to bring up, but again, I'm long-winded here, Kadeem.
So before I delve into that, what I went to get was this book called League of Denial. And it's basically essentially how the NFL tried to cover up the brain injury scandal. Really, really amazing book. For some reason,
can I say it again? My bad. I'm sorry.
League of Denial.
Who wrote it?
Mark Faranu-Wada, who New York Times bestselling author of Game of Shadows, and Steve Faneru, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Mark Faranu-Wada, they're both writers for ESPN, basically. But yeah, just amazing book.
And you said it's about the league covering up the effects of CTE.
Yeah, so like just reading the back of the book, or the blurb, I should say. Essentially, yeah, these 2 investigative reporters over a period of nearly 2 decades. They reveal how the NFL over a period of nearly 2 decades sought to cover up and deny mounting evidence that it was facing a deadly news gouge, a chronic brain disease that was driving an alarming number of players, including some of the all-time greats, to madness. And just, yeah, it's brilliant, amazing. It talks about obviously Mike Webster, Junior Seau, just yeah, brilliant.
Former Miami Dolphin and Hall of Famer Junior Seau. I think probably the most notable self-inflicted casualty that the NFL, or self-inflicted fatality that the NFL had faced at that time, was Junior Seau taking his own life. Like, man, you start to think about things now, like, all right, maybe we need to listen. And the reason why I started earlier, Kadeem, saying, "Oh, my kids are gonna play football." Like, nah, you gotta be tough, you gotta be strong. You're a man. You're gonna play football. That's what we do, right? As an adult now, Kadeem, aware of the severity of some of the things that happen in football. If my kids say, "Hey, I like football, Dad, but I'm not playing. I'm not gonna play," I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's figure it out." While we're learning jujitsu, though, you know what I'm saying? I got to get them right. You know what I'm saying? He got to have self defense. You feel me? So, So yeah, man. If my kids now said, "Nah, I'm not playing football," the old me, the ignorant me, would be like, "Oh, you don't have a choice." Well, maybe I wouldn't have said that, but
Hmm.
at the same time, I would have still encouraged him or them to play football. And now it's nothing like that at all, bro.
Yeah. And yeah, you're talking about, what Tua went through, but it's also one of those things where across multiple sports and not just sports, all walks of life in general, we are we're fortunate enough to do this, again to thousands upon thousands of fans across the world and talk about, a sport we love and players we love and stuff like that. We're both on social media. We are able to give our opinion, but so many people take that opinion way too far. And when you're just hurling abuse at someone repeatedly, like you probably think you're just doing it and they can't read it, but it's out there. Even if you don't tag them in it, if you tweet, Kadeem Simmons is a horrible person, worse, all that kind of stuff. You don't need to tag me in it. If I just type my name into Twitter, and athletes do that, athletes want to know what people are saying about them. And there were people out there that will say, well, it's fair game. If you are an athlete, if you're in the public space, I should be allowed to give my opinion on you. To a lesser degree, yeah, it's fine. But I understand the human beings. And I feel like I say this every single time on a CTE episode. There's a wrestling podcast, The Art of Wrestling, Colt Cabana, CM Punk. Amazing episode. But CM Punk basically says Twitter is like having your kitchen window open and people just shouting at you. Close the window. Sometimes with Twitter, social media, just take a break. Delete the app, close it, and get on with your life. Because again, I speak to so many of my friends and say it's just a whole it's no longer fun. It's just abuse and bad news. And if you're to bring back to the NFL, if you're an NFL player and you have a bad game, as fans, that doesn't mean you can just hurl abuse at them because they have to read it. Like they know that they let the team down. You calling them all names under the sun, it, it makes things worse.
Perfect segue to Tyler Goodson. Tyler Goodson is not a Miami Dolphin. He is well, I don't know if he's an Indianapolis Colt currently.
According to
But
Wikipedia, he still is.
all right, so Tyler Goodson was an undrafted running back in 2022, played for the Packers, and eventually went to the Colts. He's on the Colts now. Maybe, and I know some people will remember this. Last year, the Colts went on this like a run to almost make the playoffs. They ended up 9-8. I think the Texans ended up. Let me pull up the standings. It was like it was 2 9-8 teams, and then there was a division winner, maybe at like 10-7. So the Colts were right there in the playoff race. And they might what did they play the Texans last game?
Yeah.
All right, so hear me
I know we're
out.
gonna see them. Yeah.
So the winner of this game makes the playoffs. This is week 18. The winner of this game makes the playoffs. The Colts are driving. Gardner Minshew is the quarterback. There's a fourth down, and maybe it's fourth and short for sure. Maybe 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. And Tyler Goodson, running back, it has this little flare route, and Gardner Minshew passes it to him, and on first sight, and I watched it live, and I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, that's a bad ball. That's a bad pass, bro. Tyler Goodson tries to reach out for the ball. It hits his hands, and he drops it. But it was just the location of the pass was like, yo, if Minshew puts this ball where it needs to be, not only is it a first, they're probably going to win this game. They're going to go to the playoffs, and all is forgotten. But it's a bad ball. Tyler Goodson drops the ball. The entire all the platforms on social media are all Tyler Goodson, right? And a reporter after the game, and to the casual, I'm pretty sure they probably thought, oh, that's Tyler Goodson's fault. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I put it on Gardner Minshew, but that's a bad ball, bro. You got to put a ball on the money right there, right? And I'm not trying to get in no one's head, but even Gardner Minshew's reaction after the fact when the pass was dropped was like more so, oh, that was on the other dude, not on me. And I appreciate that. And I love Gardner Minshew, by the way. But Tyler Goodson walking with his head down and probably all type of tears in the locker room. Reporter asked him, well, what are you going to do after this? And Tyler Goodson says, tearfully, according to Courtney Cronin of ESPN, tearfully says, I'm just going to go see my parents because they're probably the only people in the world that care about me right now, that love me right now. That's what he said. And I'm not gonna lie, Kadeem. When I seen the drop pass and the bad pass, and this is it, bro. There's games, Kadeem. I'm dead serious. There's games of me being a teenager in high school and middle school and Sandlot that I still remember that I wish I could have back. As an adult, right now, I'm not even lying to you. Like, dang, I wish I could have that back. You feel me? Sandlot games that have no relevance. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just they play back in my head. Tyler Goodson's never gonna forget that drop pass. And in my opinion, it wasn't even a drop, it was a bad ball. So he's never gonna forget that. He's never gonna forget the world coming down on him in that moment where it's like he felt like he let the team down. I don't want that smoke, bro. I don't want that pressure of knowing what that feels like, or even imagining what it would feel like if I felt like I let these people down, like my brothers, my teammates. We went through all the mini camps and training camps and OTAs and all this stuff. And then to feel like I am the sole responsibility, the sole contributor to our season ending. I cannot imagine what that would have felt like for Tyler Goodson in that moment. Yet everybody on social media hitting him on the head.
Hear me out. I don't know if you told me this, and the more I say this, the more I feel like I've made it up. But someone once said to me, or I read it somewhere, or heard it somewhere, that like the pressure athletes feel in like, you know, key moments, Super Bowl, World Cup final, all that kind of stuff, is the same. Like that same pressure is pressure we feel, if that makes sense. Like say, like the nerves you have at that moment is 10. Well, when you're doing something and you're nervous and your nerve is 10, it's the same 10. Obviously, it's different circumstances. Like the nerves I feel when I'm playing Call of Duty and it's like, you know, 1-on-1. If I get the kill, then my team wins. And I'm, you know, my heart beats at 130 and all that kind of stuff. Athletes feel that exact same pressure, if that makes sense. Like, does that make sense?
I don't think I'm the one who told you that because I don't fully agree. I gotta believe it's more, bro. Bro, Kadeem, I can't watch Survivor without getting nervous because of tribal council. Like, oh, someone's gonna get voted off the island. You know what I'm saying? I get nervous over that. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like
when you say World Cup, like, bro, that's a perfect one, bro. These boys in the World Cup wait 4 years. Some of them will never get back to a World Cup, bro. Have a PK. You know, I'm gonna call it a PK. Have a penalty kick. Game on the line. World Cup game on the line. And not even put it on goal, bro. Like put it over the net, put it into the crowd. And I'm like, bro, just put it in the back of the net, bro. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself a chance. So I can't imagine what those nerves are like.
But like if you speak to an athlete in that situation, let's say, you know, not to get to the Eminem song, but like I was sweating, my heart was racing, my palms were sweaty. Like you've experienced that feeling. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, you might have experienced it, but not on the biggest stage in the biggest game in the world.
And again, like that's where it differs. Like I've experienced it down a local park at amateur level. They've experienced it in front of millions of fans, but that same feeling is that feeling. It's just the stages are different. So when you say, you know, that feeling of letting down your teammates and all that kind of stuff, like you and Tyler Goodson have experienced that same thing. It's just that the stages are different, and I think that's where like if we just took a step back and said, well, hold on, my experience might not have been Tyler Goodson's experience, but I felt that pain. You know, when losing a loved one, like all that kind of stuff, whether you're the most famous person in the world or you're just your regular Joe, we feel the same stuff. So when Tyler Goodson drops a pass or Mike McDaniel doesn't get a call in and like we're hurling abuse him, it's like, yo, we've all made mistakes on our jobs. Yeah, the only difference is that when Mike McDaniel or Tyler Goodson makes a mistake, we're all there to see it, all of us. And sometimes, unfortunately, that could be the end of your job. We speak about, my mind's gone blank right now. Miami Dolphins player in preseason drops a pass, and we're going, you're never going to get a chance again.
No, that was in preseason. There was Kurt Merritt. There was
Kirk Merritt,
also
yeah.
there was also all right. So he was undrafted. Kurt Merritt was undrafted. Played in 2 games, regular season games total, and probably had 2 targets total in his career as a Miami Dolphin. Had 2 targets total, and one of them was a drop. And we love Kurt Merritt here. Shout out, friend of the podcast, Kurt Merritt, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So we love Kurt Merritt here. And he dropped one of his 2 targets, and you can see how dejected he was during the game. Like, bro, I'm glad you brought it up. Someone like Kurt Merritt, you know how I joke around with my JV and varsity story, how I thought I was going to make the team, and then there's like a varsity sport. I went out to play on a football team in high school, and you have tryouts, and I go to you get to see who made the team today. So I go to the boys' locker room. I'm looking for my name on the list, and I look at the varsity list first because I'm a freshman, but I'm on the varsity team because I'm nice like that. You feel me? So I look at the varsity list, and my name wasn't on the list. I'm like, well, my last name is kind of spelled kind of weird. Maybe they put an A instead of an I in front. Maybe they, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking all through the A's and all through the I's, and I'm not on the list. So I look at the JV list. I'm like, well, maybe I'm on the JV team. I guess I'll play JV, whatever. And I look over there, and I wasn't on the JV list. Like, I didn't make no team. I didn't make JV. I didn't make varsity. And all my friends like, what? Like, they were surprised I didn't make it. I'm like, and I knew I was small and everything and whatever. And I ain't gonna lie, that took a turn to the left. And like life changed for me after that. When I didn't play, I couldn't play high school football. I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. But I guess that is the story for today. But we're not gonna get into that. So Kurt Merritt, here goes Kurt Merritt, and on the biggest level in the most popular sport in the country. He has week to week to week has to battle for a position on the roster every single day, literally at practice. And he gets an opportunity, or every week comes up and he thinks he's going to get an opportunity. So he just has to stay ready. Nah, you got to stay ready. And this is not just for Kurt Merritt. This is for maybe 900 players in the NFL, bro. This is the reality for about 900 players in the NFL. They get an opportunity, and they have to be ready for that opportunity, and then they get it. What are you going to do with it, right? So here goes Kurt Merritt, week to week, thinking, "Dang, can I get this opportunity this week? Nah, I'm not even dressing. I'll be on the sideline with what Kadeem says, in my jumper and my hoodie, and I'll be waiting for my opportunity next week in practice. Do whatever I got to do. If I got to do scout team reps and pretend like I'm the quarterback for the Ravens and just run around with the football, even though I'm a receiver, I'll do it for the team. You feel me? So that's the type of stuff Kurt Merritt's doing. And then they say, hey, Kurt, you're up this week. Oh, my bad. We didn't think this receiver's going to be ready, but he's ready. So you're not up this week. How many times you think that happens to people in the NFL, right? So Kurt Merritt actually gets a chance. He actually dresses, and he's actually on the sideline. And he doesn't even get to step on the field for 50 other plays, probably 55 other plays. There's only like 62 in the game, and he gets on the field for like 2 of them. And one of them, he gets targeted, and he drops the pass. All that, everything I just said, for that one moment to, you know what, here's my opportunity. And he drops the pass. And you can see how dejected he was again. And that's mental health right there. Like, yo, what you said, Kadeem, I understand what you're saying, how we all felt it. But I think with all due respect, like in Talladega Nights, to throw a joke in there, with all due respect, but with all due respect, there's more at stake for some people, right? And yeah, I'm not trying to compare. I'm not trying to compare or what this meant to me as opposed to what that meant to that person. However, in reality, there is more at stake for some than others.
I disagree, and I
You
say that
disagree?
because yeah, and I say it again, like talking about mental health, it's and like, we kind of discussed it in the last episode in terms of like for some people this is a job, it's an amazing job to have, but it's a job, and obviously for someone like Kirk Merritt, your job could be over after a moment like that. It's like, you know what, you have that one opportunity, and if you, I don't want to say the word fail, but if you fail to take the opportunity, it might never come again, and that's that particular career over to something else. Every single job you have, you get certain opportunities, and if you don't take the opportunity, that could be your career over. And obviously, maybe not opportunity is the right word, but you have like to me the way I see that moment for Kirk Merritt is you're on probation, and it's like okay, boom, here's your chance to show us why we should keep you, beyond your 6 month probation period. And if you don't get this right, that's it, you're done. Again, you kind of it's not the same, and it's not this exact same scenario, but the the nerves of okay, it's my time to shine. I've got to get this right. I started a new job last year, and throughout my probation period, I was so nervous because if I don't get this right, I'm out of a job. And at this time, I'm about to, marry Hannah Montana, and it's like I'm nervous, and
Hannah
I'm trying
Montana.
to make sure, that every opportunity I get, hey, Kadeem, want to write this article? Hey, Kadeem, can you interview this person? Hey, Kadeem, can you do X, Y, and Z? I'm nervous because if I don't get this right, if my article isn't perfect, there's small mistakes in my articles, it could be like, you know what, it's not going to work. We had a guy start in February. He was gone the following month because he didn't take his opportunities, and they let him go. And on a Monday morning, just said, "Hey, thanks, but no thanks." And to kind of again take it back to the NFL, it's very much you look at the contrasting careers of someone like Kirk Merritt and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler throughout the season, no opportunities. Super Bowl again, talk about the biggest stage.
Jimmy Butler, the basketball
Oh my
player.
days! Again, my mind is all over the place. Malcolm Butler.
Oh, okay,
I knew.
okay, all right. Hey, because
Apologies.
hey, real quick, I'm gonna let you talk, Kanye. Jimmy Butler hit the clutchest free throws, 3 free throws in the Eastern Conference. Excuse me, Eastern Conference Finals. And I thought you was going there for mental health awareness, but yo, that
No,
was incredible too. But Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler. So again, Malcolm Butler, Kirk Merritt. Malcolm Butler on the New England Patriots doesn't see the field. All the players do what they got to do.
Small college.
Yeah, but stays on the roster throughout the season to get to the Super Bowl. Malcolm, it's your time to shine. We worked on this. We're putting you in the biggest moment. Imagine, not even if he, not to say if he drops. No, he drops that interception. He dropped interception. Seahawks next play, touchdown, win. Do you think we see Malcolm Butler again in the NFL? Probably
I think we
not.
do. I think we do. I think we do. But I think it hurt. I think it hurts forever for Malcolm Butler. But I do think we see him again, and so I think there's a couple different nuances here. And again, I don't want to compare anything really, but I'll use myself. You know what I'm saying, and no one else. I think there is more at stake for Goodson in the NFL in a playoff game, a playoff eliminator, basically, than for me in the Sandlot game. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have had a tournament, matter of fact, a flag football tournament that I wait once a year for, which I used to do is this tournament that comes around once a year. I used to play in. Like I think it's okay for me to say there's more at stake there. And again, no comparison. I don't want to debate that, but that's an opinion. But when it comes to Malcolm Butler, and that's a good one. I hate. That's a bad word for this. I really dislike how much how happy I was for Malcolm Butler in that moment, because he was a Patriot. You know, it's a competitive Miami Dolphins Patriots thing, right? Listen, Malcolm Butler went to like Southern Alabama A&M, so it was like the smallest school. You know what I'm saying? And then he ends up becoming a NFL football player. And there's a package that the Patriots had that was only used like twice that season. It's the craziest thing that it was only used like twice that season, and they practiced it before, maybe a couple times at practice. And then here goes an opportunity for Malcolm Butler in the biggest game on the biggest stage ever in anyone's life. If you're a football player, he has the opportunity to make a name for himself. Not only does he make a name for himself, it's arguably the best play ever in the history of Super Bowls. So here goes Malcolm Butler, takes advantage of the opportunity, and he has the highest of highs, right? I don't believe it would have been I can't say that, but if he drops it, he didn't lose the game, bro. He didn't really necessarily lose the game. TJ Houshmandzadeh, where was in the playoffs, drops a pass from Joe Flacco, and they could have went to Super Bowl that year. I think there's a little difference when it goes offense and defense, and you're trying to help your team out, and like things are supposed to happen in the context of a game, and there's things that shouldn't happen in the context of a game. But that's here nor there. But yeah, I feel you on that, and I was so happy for Malcolm Butler, because small town, nobody, quote unquote, and came in and actually got a contract because of that one play. Who I think he didn't deserve that contract, but he didn't. It was just one moment, and then he gets paid off of it. But it is what it is. So I was definitely happy for him.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, he makes the play and he gets a contract. If he doesn't make the play, he probably doesn't get that contract.
That's fair.
So his career might not have been over, but at the very least, it's a totally different career. He probably jumps from team to team. Yes. And then maybe, if anything, after 2-3 years, he's at the NFL. He might go to the CFL, whatever it is. But again, that's probably a better thing, because again, Kirk Merritt, obviously was with the Saints. If he catches that pass and he gets more targets and more, that ball starts rolling, I'm not saying the Dolphins don't draft Jalen Waddle or don't draft or bring in Tyreek Hill. Maybe Kirk Merritt is a legit option for the Dolphins right now, because sometimes, we had Charlie, my mind is all over the place. Geronimo Allison. We had Geronimo Allison.
Hey, me and Geronimo Allison was just going back and forth yesterday. Shout out to Gmo. Shout out Gmo.
There we go. We talk about Geronimo Allison being a rookie with the Packers and gaining Aaron Rodgers' trust as that season goes, and he gains his trust. He forges a nice career in the NFL. It's absolutely mad how, for some players, you only might get one moment to shine, and if you don't take that moment, your career is completely different. It's crazy. It really is.
You know what, Kadeem? You just came up with a brilliant idea and you didn't even know it. Next year's mental health awareness episode, we're gonna have our friends of the podcast tell us some things that they endured or came across or went through while playing in the NFL, whether it's Geronimo Allison, William Hayes, friend of the podcast, 40 Acres and the Hellcat, Miles Gaskin, Javon Holland. We're gonna reach out to all of our friends of the podcast and tell us some of the mental aspects of playing football in the NFL for our mental health awareness episode next year. And I'm kind of sour we didn't think about it for this year. Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely have the actual insiders tell us how they feel about it. But yeah, man, we did the mental health side and we're about to get out of here soon. But CTE awareness, how many times someone gets hit in the head, bro? Kadeem, there's a punch in boxing. It's called a rabbit punch. It's outlaw. It's banned. You cannot hit someone in the back of the head. There's like a matter of fact, even in the gladiator sports that the UFC is, mixed martial arts is, the referee comes in when you're in the locker room, you're getting gloved up, you're sitting there, you're getting taped up, and they're taping up your gloves, and the referee saying, "All right, when I say do this, when I say stop, you got to stop. Watch your fingers." You know what I'm saying? And he's getting gloved up. I'm acting like I'm getting gloved up. So he's getting wrapped up, his hands wrapped, and the referee says, "There's a strip in the back of the head that you cannot hit. You cannot hit the back of this strip on the back of your head." And last year, we seen several quarterbacks fall on the back of their head, end up with getting concussions and missing games because of it. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, I believe Matt Stafford, and it's also the same type of trauma that Tua incurred 2 seasons ago, and when everyone was worried about Tua and concussions. And I'm like, yo, yes, you should be worried about concussions, but no, you should not be worried that someone's gonna land on that part of their head every single time. It's just not normal. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do that. So now that Tua has fixed it up, he falls differently. He's probably a 4-stripe white belt in jiu-jitsu right now, because I'm on my way to getting a blue belt. You feel me? So he's got to be close. So yeah, like CTE awareness is legit. So you can't be falling on the back of your head, bro. So the fact that people and these football players, matter of fact, Kadeem, this will be the first season that the NFL will allow the bump caps.
I was going to mention that. So yeah, last month, April, the NFL changed the rule to allow players to wear guardian cap safety helmets during games. I believe so. According to this article on Yahoo, guardian caps have resulted in almost a 50% reduction in concussions for those players who have worn them. Yeah, like it's massive. It also says league information gathered over the past few years has found that 10% of the force for any hit to the helmet would be absorbed by the padded cap if used, and if 2 players wearing the cap were involved in the hit, 20% of the impact will be absorbed in the padding. And again, it's not. We can discuss this before. It's not 100% safe. I don't think there's anything that is 100% safe, but if you can make it safer, it's a start. And if you keep building towards making the game as safe as possible, and hopefully keeping the entertainment and the physical element that we want to see in the game, that can hopefully be a good thing.
There's nothing that can eradicate concussions. But I will say this: the NFL had no choice with this guardian cap thing, because don't feed us some numbers and statistics that this reduces the chances of concussions, and you don't let them wear it in the game. So they kind of put themselves in that spot, and now you're gonna see guardian caps during games now. So it's gonna look weird, but I say it every single year, Kadeem. If there was a way that we can, like, and I don't know if this is possible or not. If there was a way where if there was an option, and someone said, "Hey, if the NFL takes 2 or 3 seasons off, or who knows, if the NFL took 5 seasons off and fixed concussions and said no one would ever have a concussion ever again, but this is what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to put these type of helmets into production, and while they're putting them into production, we can't play games." If that was, let's just say this was the conversation, I would say I'm all for it. No football for 5 years, bro. Like, let's do it. Like, we can't be out here having human beings sacrifice their brains for our entertainment, bro. And honestly, as an adult now, I look at big hits differently. There was the Elijah Moore hit, he looked like he looked like he passed on the field. I'm like, oh man, we lost this dude. And I love Elijah Moore. And the way I used to look at those hits before, we used to glorify big hits. Oh, he got clapped, you know what I'm saying? And now I kind of cringe now. I'm like, dang, that was a big hit. It was kind of cool, but dang, bro, like, what are the lasting effects of that? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we appreciate everybody rocking with us. And Kadeem, you got something before we get into bonus time?
No, just we spoke about CTE and take it back to mental health. You know, don't suffer in silence. You know, friends, family, anyone, speak to people. It does make a major difference. And you know, especially I guess as men, don't be afraid to say, you know what, I need someone to talk to, I need help. Like it doesn't make you any less manly or anything like that. It's put your mental health first, and there's not much more I can say outside of that, to be fair.
And for anyone who's ever took a plane, right, who took a flight anywhere, domestic, international, you get on the plane, there's these instructions. Make sure your seatbelt is fastened, and in the event of a water landing, you gotta, you know, your vest is under your seat, all this stuff. In the event that the cabin loses pressure, the air is gonna, support is gonna drop down. You put the mask over your head. The bag does not have to inflate for you to be getting oxygen, they say. But they also say, make sure you secure your mask first before helping someone else put their mask on. And mental health is the same way. Make sure you take care of your mental health first. You have to be taken care of first before you can take care of somebody else. You got to take care of yourself. You got to put yourself in a place to be able to look out for someone else. You got to look out for yourself first. So for Kadeem Simmons, y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Shout out to everyone, and shout out to Cap for life for this comment. I'm all about mental health, but how am I going to lose my mind when it's showtime? When it's showtime, lay it on the line when it's showtime. It's go time. Don't waste no time.
Don't waste no
Shout out to
time.
Cap for that.
Hey,
Shout
you
out to
can
Cap
lay
for
it.
that one.
You can lay it on the line and still be safe laying it on the line. I'm just saying, like you can lay it all on the line and still be safe while you're doing it. It's a couple comments out here. If we could get to them, Kadeem, for bonus time, unless you have something else.
I was going to keep it mental health.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Let's keep it mental health first, and then go to some of these comments. There's some good ones.
So also, it's more CTE awareness, player safety, all that kind of stuff. And I am, touch wood, fingers crossed, hitting up Hard Rock Stadium week 1, week 2. Week 1, Jags on the Sunday. Week 2, Buffalo on the Thursday. And we speak about protecting players, all of that kind of stuff. It won't happen this year. It's very unlikely to happen anytime soon, but we know the players don't like it. Do you think part of the road to increasing player safety is getting rid of Thursday night football?
Yeah. the more rest you have in between games, the better it would be on your body. Like if I wish I had a day off of work every day before I had to go back to work. Like that's great for my mental health. Like all jokes aside, you know what I'm saying? So for sure, the more days you have off, the better. So now they put games, and somehow they conjured up, you know what, Thursday is acceptable for us to play another game, even if you played on Sunday. Well, why not Wednesday? You know what I'm saying? Like they'll say player safety for everything until the dollar amount goes up in their pockets. Like, oh, wait a minute, bro. We're making so much money doing this. Player safety is first, but it's first after money. You know what I'm saying? It's first after the dollar amount. And the fact that you brought it up, man, I wanted to say, I always had this idea. When you get a personal foul in the NFL, a 15-yard penalty, flag on the play, personal foul, you get fined for that. And apparently the fines go to the choice of the NFL, like the charity of choice of the NFL. I never understood that. Like, yo, if the personal foul was done to me, if I got chop blocked, if I got cracked back, if I got hit in the head and this person gets a personal foul and you fine this person $50,000, why can't I get some of that $50,000? You know what I'm saying? Why can't I get half of that and then the other half go to charity? So I always wanted to throw this at the NFL and be like, yo, when there's a personal foul penalty, instead of just throwing the flag and fining that player, why can't half of that fine go to the person who the hit took place on? I never understood that, and I might have to bring that up some more on regular episodes because I don't like it. Like, yo, if you're gonna find somebody $50,000 for hitting someone inappropriately, why can't the person who was hit get some of that $50,000? I'm just saying.
No, and you're right, especially when, if they're going to start finding people for this hip drop tackle, which they've only just outlawed. It's like, hey, you taught me to tackle this way, you've now changed it, and I'm now going to pay money for something that you changed. And for the person on the receiving end of that thing, hey, you just messed up my knee for a week. Let me see some of that money so I can donate it to a good cause, or
no, who said I gotta donate it? Like, well, you just messed up my knee. It could be for a month or two. It could be for a year. It could be a season-ending injury. Like, yo,
oh yeah.
Like, yo, why can't I keep this $40,000 if that's the thing? You know what I'm saying? Nah, bro. I don't think the players have to donate it. I'm just saying, why can't this person get the money? That's all I'm saying. I actually kind of like it even more. I got to put better words to it, but I got to articulate it well. But at the same time, nah, bro. I think that the players should be. Where's this money going, NFL? I don't like it.
Yeah, definitely. What comments did you want to get to before we head out of here?
Pay Tour is a nice comment. Shout out to Pay Tour. There's a comment. Pay Tour.
No, sorry, my bad. Jason Keck.
Jason Keck. Shout out Jason Keck. Pay Tour. Cat for Life had a comment. Speaking of contracts, is it true that Jordan Love and our quarterback have the same agent representation? I'm not sure if that's true or not. It is fun. It's fun though, because Jordan Love's due. 2 is up. That's fun. Who gets done first? Yeah, that's cool. You get Jordan Love done first, then you come back and say, "Hey, look what I did for Jordan Love." Like, now Tua has to get more, but it is what it is. I don't think it changes anything though.
I'm just looking. Ryan Williams, Athletes First. That's Tua's agent.
I've heard the name Ryan Williams before.
Jordan Love agent. Different people. It's not the same. It's definitely not the same people. But yeah, it could be. Or sports. So sports agency. That's the same word. Apparently, Mayfield Sports Marketing. So no, I don't think they have the same agents, but we shall see. But yeah, again, people move all the time, so who knows who will be representing who shortly.
Hey, we got some Patreon content we got to get to, Kadeem. We out of here? We
are. Again, thank you so much for everyone who commented, everyone who took part in this episode, and honestly, like, thanks for watching this episode, because it's not, to all the stuff happening in the news at the moment. It's a very important subject which doesn't get enough love and enough screen time across the world, basically. So we shall see you on the next one. Make sure you take care of yourself, and yeah, like we said, if you need to speak to someone, speak to them. But cool. Peace.